I hope you don't get the sickness.
My boy Kurt is a stay-at-home dad, watching Disney movies he never had. His daughter digs through all the VHS, crushing the classics in a princess dress. Informed like Scuttle, Kurt's got your ticket, making it real like Jiminy Cricket. Most off the Captain Hook, but if the Tweedle dumb, he'll be taking more shots than Bambi's mom. Leaves him raised like Simba, or cracked like the beast dishes. He'll show you a whole new world, you won't need 3 wishes. Stay-at-home Disney dad.
From Mexico, we continue the tour of the Epcot World Showcase, and we head to Norway. I'm a big fan of every pavilion because I love Epcot, and the World Showcase just seems like it's made for adults, right? But Norway, more than the other pavilions, seems like it's slanted towards kids, which is fine. The Norway Pavilion has lots of Frozen stuff in it, which makes sense, right? But they do a great job of integrating it. From Anna and Elsa meet and greets to character dining with traditional Norwegian food to just the basic look and feel of immersing yourself in this cute little town that's shut off from the rest of the showcase. Like the way it's tucked further back and surrounded by buildings and mountains. This is one of the best, if not the best looking outdoor pavilion. Of course, deep in the back of that little crescent is the insanely popular Frozen boat ride, which basically takes you through the entire movie in a boat. Even standing in line for the ride is fun though, because you're surrounded by many items and callbacks to the Frozen movie for you and your kids to point out and talk about while you're standing in line waiting for the ride, and be thankful for those conversation starters, because sometimes the line can be really long. Okay, the line can always be really long. It's always long, but it's worth it. If your kids are fans of Frozen, Norway's gonna blow their little minds. Last time we were there was 2019. My daughter got to meet Anna first, as you do in the character meet and greets, and after the picture, Anna bends down and says to my daughter, "I'm so happy you chose to spend part of your special day with me. It means the world to me. I hope you and I can." And my daughter just cuts her off and goes, "Let's go meet Elsa!" And I think my daughter might be colder than Queen Elsa. It's funny the order they place these pavilions in, because my favorite is Mexico, like the first. My second favorite is Norway, the second. And if this continues, my least favorite pavilion should be number 11, Canada, and being Canadian. That doesn't seem right. Finally, I have the opportunity to review Frozen 1. So if you saw my 46-minute review of Frozen 2, you know I'm a fan of this franchise. Now remember, I'm watching all these movies for the first time as an adult with no real warm childhood memories attached to them. And I think Frozen, like the franchise, deserves to be at the very top. Yeah, it's better than The Little Mermaid, it's better than Beauty and the Beast, it's better than Pocahontas, it's better than Hunchback and Snow White and Sleeping Beauty, it's better than all those franchises. I think Frozen 2 is the best Disney movie ever made, and Frozen 1 isn't that far behind. It's a little clunkier, but you have to meet the characters for the first time. That always sucks up time. The balance between serious and goofy, along with pacing, the tight script, and I love the fact that Disney took the honestly unfair criticism about gender stereotypes. You know, the Disney only writes weak female characters that always need a man. They took that sentiment that everyone throws at the company, they made Frozen, and they threw it right back in the viewers' faces without compromising the story in any way to prove that point. I sat and watched this with my daughter a week before we saw Frozen 2 in the theater, so I watched this again for the second time recently, and it held up. I really like this movie. That being said, I already knew most of what happened in this movie before I watched it the first time. I saw the live action play at Disney World multiple times. You know, this is in every sing-along DVD, and I know how much parents hate this movie and hate the songs, so this must have resonated with children to a whole new level back in the day. And I'll remind you, though, if you hate the song Let It Go, it's probably only because you've heard it 50 million times. If you really listen to that song, it's so well done. So if you want to hear someone trash the Frozen franchise, move on. It's not going to be me. This is also the first time I've reviewed back-to-back movies not on VHS, which is kind of my thing usually. Okay, we press play on the DVD player, and let's break down Frozen. Chanting over top the Disney logo, I mentioned my thoughts on when they do this during my Coco review. We get some manly men cutting through ice, and they are perfectly backlit by a setting red sun. And I know this is animation, but as a camera op, this makes my eye vibrate a little bit, because this would be so nearly impossible to properly expose with a real camera. Like, it looks beautiful, but trust me, it would be almost impossible to get that. You can never get the light not evenly washed with the sun behind him. I'm just saying. Okay, we see a little boy and his reindeer. More to come on them. Now we meet toddler Anna and Elsa. Anna pries open Elsa's eye and says, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Ah, yeah. Little Elsa can control the snow and create ice. She builds Olaf and they play in the magical snow inside the house. Anna has an accident and gets knocked out cold. Elsa can't control her powers. And Mom and Dad burst in and it was an accident, but Anna, not doing so well. They take off into the night and they pass the little boy and his reindeer Sven, who follow them. The Mom and Dad go deep into the forest and they call on the secret troll society. The trolls bring Anna back to life and remove all her memories of Elsa's ice powers. The troll tells Elsa she needs to learn to control her powers. And until then, Mom and Dad will keep Elsa locked away and separated from everyone else, including Anna. Tough break, kid. Fade to black. Time has passed, and Anna is at Elsa's locked bedroom door, and we are off. We get, "Do you want to build a snowman?" Intercut with their dad helping Elsa control her powers. "Conceal, don't feel," he tells her. The gals keep growing. The parents leave for a 2-week trip on a ship, but the waters are rough, and here we go. Dead Disney parents. Elsa still won't leave her room, despite Anna singing and pleading. 3 years later, it's Coronation Day. Anna wakes up and she's a mess. Wait, what? Disney gals don't wake up with perfect hair and makeup? It's Coronation Day, and here's another song I've heard a million times with the amazing lyric, "Why have a ballroom with no balls?" It's a valid question. The animation of Frozen, like Coco, is just a new level of perfect. The blues, the greens, and the purples are burning through my standard def television. Anna's kind of a klutz, but very endearing. She falls into a boat and she meets a dude. It's Prince Hans. The boat rocks and he lands on top of her, and then it rocks again and she lands on top of him. Hey now, this is pretty steamy for Disney. At the coronation, Elsa gets crowned queen while Anna stands proudly behind her, and for some reason isn't like, "Why didn't you open your door for a decade, girl?" They do kind of have a moment like that, but then the Duke of Weaseltown drags Anna out to dance with him. Who is this guy? The sisters share another moment. Elsa remembers, "With great power comes great responsibility," and is once again kind of cold and shuts off to Anna. Hans reconnects with Anna and we burst into "Love is an Open Door." This is a cute song. My daughter knows every word to every song in this movie. And careful, Anna, Hans might be all Hans. The song ends with them engaged. They tell Elsa, and she shuts him down hard. "You can't marry someone you just met." Anna and Elsa are now in each other's faces. Anna pushes her buttons a little too far, and Elsa explodes ice all over the place, and the jig is up. "Sorcery, she's a monster!" The whole 9 yards, like Gaston is going to come hunt her. Elsa panics and runs across the water, and everything freezes, and it starts snowing in their little town. There's like Titanic music playing, and that was a really well done scene. Anna gets her horse and goes after Elsa. The snow and the animation is just really, like, the snow looks really lifelike. And it's time. Here's Let It Go. Elsa walks up a snowy mountain and builds a castle out of ice. Let's break down Let It Go, shall we? We start off with one sweeping shot of a cold, dark mountain in a snowstorm as Queen Elsa, alone, sad, and rejected, slowly approaches. The piano intro starts. Lyrics begin as the string section joins the piano. This one shot is another moment I get over myself, my old man views about 3D animation, and how just because I grew up watching Transformers and Astro Boy in 2D, I always thought 2D was superior, and let's not move on. No, this is right. This is better. We switch to a top shot, like a drone shot above Elsa as she chucks her gloves into the wind. They blow back. Symbolic, sure. Cheesy? No, it's awesome. The chorus begins to build, and it's just simple piano, and she makes tiny ice sculptures with her hands, and she's happy. We see unguilty Queen Elsa for the first time here, and it's fun. She makes Olaf. She makes little 3D swirling snow stuff. She's just having fun. The first time she sings "The Cold Never Bothered Me Anyway," she releases her purple cape, and the camera tracks it as it disappears into the wind behind her as Elsa exits the other shot of the frame, and that shot is money. For the next verse, the full orchestra joined in, but they're playing pretty low-key as the song, the visuals continue to build. Elsa, all smiles, runs up the hill and throws her hands out in front of her as the camera whip pans away from her, and we see a chunky ice staircase forming in the distance. She walks forward, puts one foot on the bottom step, and it instantly transforms from this like dilapidated stair into like a stair from the final scene of the Titanic, like the staircase. She looks up, all smiles. The verse builds, no right or wrong, no rules for me, I'm free, and the music builds to a climax and pause. I'm going to go for it, so stay with me because I really believe this. When the second chorus of Let It Go kicks in with a full orchestra at full strength, including like the bass, which is so great, as Elsa runs up that ice staircase as it forms in front of her, this is the best Disney movie moment in the company's history. No no, Curtis, it's just... Yes, it is, okay? Quick cuts, medium shot, reverse close-up of her feet running up the steps, wide shot from above as the regal staircase continues to form out of thin air as she runs full speed up. And medium shot from the front corner as the staircase as Elsa runs towards the camera. Then a wide head-to-toe shot of Elsa hopping off the top of the staircase and landing in the snow facing the camera. Okay. Musically, the slow build and satisfying delivery is on par with like Coldplay's Fix You and Snow Patrol's Chasing Cars. Add the visuals to the theme of repressed Elsa busting into freedom. And ladies and gentlemen, let's say it again. These 12 seconds there, Elsa running up the stairs, is the best single Disney moment of all. Take your time. Deal with it. Yell at me if you want. Yell at your computer. But the Lion King had the... But Robin Williams was the genie. And yeah, that's all great. But I'm telling you, the staircase scene in Frozen takes this medium to a whole new level. And it keeps going. Elsa stomps the ground and makes a giant snowflake marble floor design and then goes to work. She raises her arms like mid-90s WWF Undertaker when he would make the lights come on, right? But in this case, she makes a full-on castle form around her. There's another amazing edit where the orchestra hits a giant note just as she waves her hands in time with it and the walls snap white. Something similar happens again a few moments later, and I can just imagine the look on the Disney bigwigs' faces at this point as the exhausted animators proudly showed them this scene for the first time. Like, they had to know what they had here. They knew. They all knew. So Elsa creates an ice chandelier, which is going to be important later. The orchestra is still killing it. She has a full freaking ice castle. She's building this thing as the music builds for the third chorus. And do we go wider and show the exterior, the progress of this incredible structure? No, we go closer. As the downbeat to the chorus starts, Elsa pulls her braid out and smooths her hair, and she turns her dress into the iconic white ice dress, and it's all reflections here as she walks to the balcony and faces the sunrise. As she hits the line, "Let the storm rage on," we snap, zoom out, and we reveal the exterior of the ice castle shimmering in the dawn. We end with Elsa smirking, "The cold never bothered me anyway." The double doors slam shut, revealing the iconic ice pattern on the doors. That's my slow clap with my ring in my cup. I don't know what happened here or why it happened, but somewhere along the way, the studio decided to make a statement with that scene. I don't know if the director had every inch of every frame burned into their mind and made the animators meticulously bring it to life, or if he just handed the animators the script and it said, quote, "Let it go, plays, and Elsa builds a castle," end quote. And the animators all looked at each other, put on a fresh pot of coffee, snuffed out their cigarettes, cracked their neck, and we're like, let's go to work. But that right there is the greatest scene in the company's rich movie history. From there, we see Anna going through the snow on horseback. And again, the light and the colors of this movie are so good. I know if Anna's horse was dead, I'd be beating it. She loses her horse now and she's walking through the snow in a sleeveless dress. Girl, she lands in water and she finds a store in the woods. The Wandering Oakens Trading Post and Sauna. That's fun. There's a big summer blowout sale because, permanent winter. Good stuff. She wants boots and other winter stuff, but they're all sold out. In comes a grumpy, snow-covered Kristoff. He wants to buy carrots. He came from the North Mountain. Everything is more expensive now because of supply and demand. Kristoff says, "You want to talk about supply and demand? I sell ice for a living." Anna says, "Ooh, rough break." Kristoff calls the owner a crook because he upped prices. Then the owner stands up and he's like 8 feet tall. He picks up Kristoff and tosses him outside in the snow. That was funny stuff. Back inside, Anna buys Kristoff his haul. Inside the barn, Kristoff is playing the lute to Sven and singing the song "Reindeer Are Better Than People," and he's pretending to make Sven sing. This is weird. Anna busts in and wants him to take her to the North Mountain. He says he doesn't take people places. Love that line. She says she knows how to stop this winter. He says, okay, they leave at dawn. She says, no, we leave now. They're on his sleigh being pulled by Sven through the dark forest. This is, again, great scene. He says they're going to go fast. She says she likes fast. Cold shower, Anna. She explains how the queen lost her mind because she got engaged to someone she just met that day, and Kristoff can't get over that part of her story, and that's also great. He asks if her parents ever warned her about strangers. Awkward pause, and Anna says, yes, they did, and slowly slides another half foot away from him on the sleigh. Now, wolves are chasing them, and Kristoff and Anna work together, and Anna's kind of amazing here. She's chucking burning wood at the animals. They charge towards a cliff, and Sven jumps it, and while the three of them land safely on the snow, the sled doesn't quite make it and crashes below in the chasm and bursts into flames. That was subtle and funny. Anna promises to buy him a new sleigh. Kristoff goes to a weird place where he's fake talking to Sven and is like, I'm fine leaving her here to die. And then Sven says back, but then you'll never get your new sleigh. What is happening? Great tracking shot where Anna points straight up and says, is that the way to the North Mountain? Kristoff says, more like this. He tilts her arm so it's pointing like up at this huge mountain in the distance. Now they run into Olaf again. Anna panics and kicks Olaf's head off his shoulders. She tries to put the carrot into his head for the nose, but it comes out the back of the skull. dark. Cutaway of Kristoff wincing, which makes it funny. Anna remembers Olaf from her childhood. Did Elsa build you? Yeah, why? Do you know where she is? Yeah, why? Can you take us there? Yeah, why? Now we go into Olaf's daydream about living his best life in summer. This is great. The lyrics of this song are actually incredibly clever. Things like, I'll do whatever snow does in summer, and imagine how much cooler I'll be in summer. All really good stuff. When it ends, Kristoff wants to tell him about what happens to snow in summer, and Anna snaps at him not to. Immediately, I see the appeal of the Olaf character. Olaf leads them to Elsa because he wants to usher summer back, and I kind of have torn feelings now because they're basically leading this thing to its death if summer comes back. Back in Arendelle, Prince Hans is keeping everyone safe and handing out soup and blankets. His actions are being questioned when Anna's horse returns, and Hans is all, she's in trouble, I need men to come with me. And the little Duck Weaselton guy sends 2 goons and tells them if they get the chance to snuff out Elsa, do it, Rockapella. Anna and Kristoff continue up the mountain. The dialogue between Anna and Kristoff is really natural. It's aged well. Kristoff keeps mentioning that he has friends who are love experts. Olaf finds the ice staircase and the ice castle. Kristoff, who deals in ice, takes a breather and says, now that's ice. Also good stuff. They get to the front door and Anna knocks. The door is open. She tells Kristoff to wait outside because last time she introduced her sister to a new man, she froze the town. Funny stuff. Inside, Anna calls out to Elsa and the sisters reunite. Elsa says she's fine and Anna should probably just go. Elsa says she belongs here alone where she can't hurt anyone, and Anna's like, well, actually. Then Olaf comes in and reminds Elsa of their childhood, but here comes the flashbacks of Elsa almost killing her sister Anna. Elsa snaps out of it as like, nope, negative, I'm basically a monster, you guys gotta go. The ice castle is one of the most incredible things I've seen in a Disney movie. I just love the way this thing looks. They start singing back and forth, and the wheels of the song and the cadence and the structure come off the rails as Anna has to break the bad news to her sister that she accidentally froze the entire town, but she does it in like song form, and that's more clever than it gets credit for. I would love to see a musical where the songs go wrong, you know? Maybe it's been done. I've only seen Annie, South Park, and Hamilton, so... Elsa has had enough and accidentally hits Anna with Ice Blast again, and Elsa's like, see? Monster! Can't control myself. And here comes Marshmallow. I remember this as my daughter's least favorite part of the movie. Terrifying. The giant snowman tosses them outside, and Anna has to be Anna and antagonizes it. Now it's chasing them. The purple in this scene is so good. The colors once again burn my standard def television. They get to a cliff and the monster's still coming. They try to rappel down with rope, but Marshmallow pulls them up and screams, don't come back, in their face, and they fall off the cliff and land safely in the snow below, where Sven shows back up. We see Kristoff's muscles for the first time, really, as he just effortlessly pulls Anna out of the snow, and she's like, oh my. Uh-oh. Anna's hair is turning white because Elsa struck her. See, Elsa is dangerous. She wasn't lying. Kristoff says that we need to go see his love expert friends to fix this. Back in the ice castle, Elsa is mad at herself for not controlling her powers and Anna getting hurt again. Kristoff is explaining how his friends took him and Sven in when they were young, and we meet the trolls, who at first look like rocks. Olaf has a moment where he says out of the side of his mouth, he's crazy. But then the rocks come to life and we meet the trolls again. One troll wants him to take his clothes off, and for some reason that joke played out really funny instead of uncomfortable or awkward. They just nailed the delivery and timing of that joke. One troll looks over Anna like a horse, and they're excited that she's with Kristoff, and she says, actually, we're not together. And the trolls are like, why not? And then they sing a troll song about everything that is wrong with Kristoff. Hilarious. They think that he's a bit of a fixer-upper. Is it because he only tinkles in the woods? And Anna says, I did not need to know that. This is all just like home run stuff. Now they realize Anna is actually engaged, and there's a record scratch moment, and the song changes to, she's a bit of a fixer-upper. The trolls turn on Anna and sing, I don't see a ring, and this scene plays out great. I can't say the trolls are my favorite characters in Frozen, but I get it. They have their place. Now Anna is deteriorating. There's ice in her heart thanks to her sister. The trolls can do nothing because only an act of true love can melt a frozen heart. A true love's kiss, perhaps? Kristoff says we need to get her back to Hans for a life-saving kiss right now. The cavalry arrive at Elsa's castle. Marshmallow attacks, but the goons sent by Weaselton get in. They try to kill Elsa, and here we go, next level animation, and she uses her ice to hold him off. This is amazing stuff. Elsa shows him how easy it would be for her to kill him, but she doesn't. She kind of wants to, but she doesn't. She's kind of about to, but she doesn't. Hans shows up and tells Queen Elsa not to be the monster everyone thinks she is. She stops killing the goons, and then another guy is about to shoot her with a crossbow, but Hans pushes the weapon up and it hits the chandelier instead, and the massive thing falls to the ground, knocking out Elsa as the picture goes black, and we're treated to a very uncomfortable, like, ringing sound, like what Elsa hears in her ears. Have you ever had tinnitus? This is what tinnitus sounds like. Elsa wakes up chained in the dungeon with cuffs covering her hands so she can't use her ice powers. Hans begs her to change things back to summer. Elsa can't. Great action sequence of heroic Kristoff carrying dying Anna on the back of Sven as they charge towards the Arendelle castle. Kristoff drops Anna off with the help and tells them to get her warm and find Prince Hans, and the door closes in his face. Sad. Some great foreshadowing you miss is when Hans says he has to go find Anna. And they say, well, if something happens to Anna, Hans is all Arendelle has left. They bring Anna to Hans, and she's like, you gotta kiss me now. And he's like, whoa, what? The help leave them. They give him some room. She explains how only an act of true love can save her life. He says, a true love's kiss, and the music swells, and he leans in, and then bam, heel turn. He says, oh, Anna, if only there was someone out there who loves you. Honestly, one of the greatest betrayals in movie history. But it's a cartoon. And I have such sophisticated, get over yourself, it's great. Storytelling is storytelling, and this was a total blindside no one saw coming the first time. Why is he doing this? Hans is 13th in line to be a king in his own family, so it's never going to happen. But here he got Anna to fall in love with him in one day, and his long-term plan was going to be to kill her anyways. This guy, he kills the fire, and he leaves her locked in the cold room to die. Wow! Hans comes out all sad-faced and tells everyone Anna is dead and says she was killed by her sister, but they got to say their marriage vows before she died. The squirrely Weaselton guy says, Queen Elsa is a monster! And Hans charges her with treason and sentences Elsa to death. It's getting real in Arendelle. Elsa's freaking out in her cell and freezes through her chains and breaks through the wall for freedom. Hans doesn't like this. In the forest, Sven is pushing Kristoff back towards Arendelle. He knows what's up. The winter weather suddenly gets worse, and Kristoff knows something is wrong. He charges back towards Arendelle. Olaf picks the lock to Anna's room with his carrot nose. That's a nice touch. He restarts the fire and he drags Anna towards it. He's like, what happened to Hans and your kiss? She says, it was all lies. And he goes, but we ran all the way here. And that's a really underrated funny line from this movie. Olaf is standing too close to the fire, and he's melting, and he says he doesn't care because some people are worth melting for. They roll around possibilities, and he's like, Kristoff loves you. And where this leads to is actually one of the best swerves in movie history again. Back-to-back swerves. Olaf sees Kristoff speeding back towards the castle, and everyone's excited. This is all coming together with Kristoff bringing the day-saving act of love, right? The whole castle is freezing as Olaf drags Anna down the hall, and even the hallway is freezing over. Elsa cuts through the intense blizzard. Olaf and Anna bust through the window, and Sven and Kristoff charge into the storm. Great animation as the river freezes and the boats creak and tip. All good stuff. Great suspense as Sven falls into the water and doesn't come up for a few seconds. It seemed like an hour. I'm all in for this finale. They are playing it up huge as Kristoff is coming for Anna to save her life with a kiss. Hans and Elsa have a showdown. He tells Elsa that Anna is dead and she died because of you. Elsa, that's it for her. She falls to her knees and the storm freezes her. Hans pulls his sword and he's about to behead Elsa and Anna, but Anna jumps in front of him just as she turns to complete ice and his sword shatters as it hits Anna. Elsa's crying beside herself and crying on her frozen dead sister, but Anna slowly comes alive again because this was the act of true love. You know what? Everyone who walks around complaining about Disney and their princesses and their poor portrayal of female characters. That's the real deal right there. That's how you write strong female characters. The winter lifts and summer returns. Olaf starts to melt and Elsa uses her powers to save him, gives him his own personal flurry. Now Elsa trash talks Hans and Anna punches him rather she kicked him. But Hans is being deported back to his country. Elsa has stopped doing business with Weaselton, and the old dude is furious. Anna bought Kristoff the new sled like she promised, and it's the latest model. It even has a cup holder. I don't know why that's funny, but it is. Kristoff says he could kiss her, and then he stumbles and is like, well, I would like to. May I kiss you? Total roles reversed. In the middle of the town, Elsa makes winter fireworks, and the townspeople ice skate. I guess she can control her powers better now. The gals skate together, and we get the drone pull-out final shot, and thus ends Frozen. Credit scene. Yeah, once again, I don't care about your childhood. Frozen is the best Disney franchise. Both scripts are solid, timing is perfect, character development is flawless, and they both are just the perfect balance of fun and heavy. And whatever beef, deserved or not, people have with Disney as a whole, you could pretty much always use Frozen 1 and 2 as an example of the opposite of what they're complaining about. Disney got it right here. The Frozen franchise is the company becoming untouchable. Once again, I'll end with footage of my son back in 2019, last time we were at Disney World, where we gave our kid all the leftover snack credits because we had so many. We sent him on a Epcot World Showcase food tour, told him to try a signature treat from each pavilion and give him a score. Here he is in Norway trying school bread.
We're in Norway. This is a school bread. I think it's what it's called. It's like a donut.
Out of 10?
I don't know. Like 7.5.
That's what I think about.
What do you think?
What we have is a concern about Curtis Anderson. His interviewing style is not the best. His personal appearance is not the best. I was wondering if the man has some kind of a hold over the channel that he's allowed to be employed for so long.